Commissioner Clemens?
Here.
Commissioner Nevitt?
Here.
Commissioner Lanker?
Here.
Commissioner Madrid? Commissioner Owens?
Almost.
Am I gonna make it half a check?
Yeah.
Commissioner Yu?
You're in body, but.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, he was ready.
Okay, Kathy, would you lead us in a pledge, please?
There's no flags going
No
up.
flag.
Going around together. She's walking to them.
Okay, it's over there.
Oh, but not the flag.
Miguel, flag? You think you got?
I was looking for Leah, but I
Got my
don't
social
know.
security card.
Well, we have the flag poles up there, right, to the back.
That's where they
It's
are.
always in the corner. Well, we'll suspend that until
Okay.
they figure that one out. Okay, and we have public comments now. And would you like to? This is Raphael Teran. Gabriel.
Yes.
I can't read your writing.
I'm sorry, that's not the first person to tell me that. I should really.
We'll get her
think
new
about
glasses.
Welcome. And what do you have to tell us?
Is there a podium you'd like me to speak at?
No.
Or can I just, okay.
We're very casual.
Oh, okay, great. So good morning, Commissioner Sweetland and fellow commissioners. My name is Gabriel Teran, and actually myself, I'm a commissioner in the Parks and Recreation and Community Services Commission. And I'm actually here to speak to you this morning on behalf of a group who offered a senior repair day at the Wilson Center last Monday, July 3rd. And I was asked to come. The organizer of that event, Dottie, was unable to be here this morning. And so she asked if I'd be willing to just come out and give you an update on that. So the senior repair day, we had a couple of volunteers who had a number of different skill sets. Someone who was a general repair person on small appliances. We had a person who could repair jewelry. I volunteered my time as a computer diagnosis and computer repair. And we had just a couple of different people. We even had someone who was an artist and brought some rocks and pottery that seniors could paint on while they were waiting for their items to be repaired. And so they just wanted me to come give you that update to let you know that we did offer that at the Wilson Center last Monday. And we had a couple of people come by. There wasn't too much promotion of it. It was the first time around. And so they just wanted to let you all know as a commission that that was something they tried out. The people who did come and the people who stopped by but didn't have appliances were really impressed and thought it was a great idea. We're hoping that it would be offered again in the future. And so as the Senior Services Commission, we just wanted to let you know so that if it comes up again as another opportunity when another one's scheduled, perhaps you'd be willing to help get the word out or even think of some things you'd like to bring by yourselves to be repaired. So that's just a comment that I have for you. Are there any questions?
You're talking about
Correct.
right down. Dottie lives down in Huntington Beach, and she and I actually were emailing about
That's
that.
correct. Yes.
And you know, I haven't heard back. I just sent her an email Sunday. I haven't heard back from her. But we had raised the issue that maybe this should be a scheduled event. It actually was on the calendar for Wilson, but I think nobody knew it was limited publicity, let's call it.
Yes.
So we've raised the issue, is there enough interest that we should make this quarterly, semi-annually, you know, as it is, you know, let it just happen when people are in the mood.
Yes.
Renee got back to me and said her thought was, will the leads who help put it together still work on it?
Yes, I believe Dottie worked with Ivy at Wilson Center, and they kind of had scheduled that. And so my anticipation is that they would repeat that if it felt that there would be enough interest. And it sounded like there was, maybe to do one a couple months out. Another thing that was counting against us was that it was July 3rd.
Right,
And so a lot of people might have had visitors or might have been away for the July 4th holiday. And so those who did come by, though, a few people brought actual items, but those who were at the center came by and thought like, wow, I wish I would have known. I could have brought something. So maybe it's more on Dottie's end and her group of volunteers to help promote that, as well as anything you'd be willing to do as a commission as well.
Yeah, and it was promoted on Nextdoor
Yes,
online.
that's actually how I found out about it and volunteered to go to it.
Yeah, and one of the thoughts was maybe it shouldn't be in the senior center all the time. That kept the population very specific, but maybe it should be in a library or some other community room.
Yes, those are great things to take into consideration. I'll let Dottie know that. I'm
But
sure you've
that's
already
question.
communicated.
I mean, should we be focusing on seniors for this? Or should it be open? If it's in the library, who knows who will walk in here? So you run that risk. It'll be better attended, but. it could
Thank
be an
you so
interesting-
much, Gabriel. We're not supposed to get into
Not on the
detailed
agenda, right?
discussion, but I think it's fabulous, and thank you for making us aware of it. Because I didn't know about it. I would have brought my
Yeah.
toaster.
I was gonna do my 3 minutes on it today, but I asked Renee to put it on the September agenda.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. And maybe we can decide what makes sense.
That's wonderful.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can I introduce you?
Sure.
So I wanted to introduce Kim, who's here from CSUN, Public Health. And she's helping me she's got 120 hours of service that she needs to do in her internship. So she's helping me with bone builders and Tai Chi this summer. She's welcome home. Yeah, in my office.
Well, Mary Sue always can use lots of assistance because she sure has a lot of programs. That's wonderful. Okay, has everyone read the minutes of the June 13th meeting?
I have not. I was not going to be here today, and I only got back from vacation yesterday, so I was saying I have not read that.
Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Would someone like?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? And abstention. Thank you. Okay. We're supposed to have a representative from Food Share.
No, I don't think so.
Alice making.
You're making the presentation. Okay, Commissioner Clemens, would you like to make a presentation?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to visit Food Share. Got lost the first time, found it the second time. Very, very impressed with them. They know what they're doing. They have a strategic plan. They have 3 different audiences that they're dealing with. One, of course, is seniors, second is low income, and third is children. They're handling about 74,000 customers, recipients, every month. I was asked also to fill out our form that we use for them for the grant purposes. The name of the organization, of course, is Food Share. And the program, they have a number of different programs, but the one that we contributed to is called the Senior Share. We funded only $2,000, obviously, and the annual budget is $3 million. So obviously our figures are fairly inconsistent and de minimis relative to the $3 million. However, going further down into conversations with them, it's unbelievable the amount of services that are attributable to the Oxnard community. So even though we're only contributing $2,000 in the grant, they are seeing about 1,000 of our senior citizens every month. Okay? They have 281 paid employees. They have 600 volunteers. And as I said, they service in Ventura County, 74,000 people monthly. Many of the residents are also in Oxnard, and there's 1,000 from Oxnard. It says here, how do we reach the new clients? It's really interesting to see how they reach the new clients. Newspaper, AAA, senior centers, 211 phone, and word of mouth. Is there anyone here familiar with 211? That's a shame, because I wasn't either, okay? Everyone's familiar with this? This is a complete waste. I've called it half a dozen times. 211 is 24/7. It's national, and they break it down by regions. I called up last night at 9 o'clock and I got somebody. And what they do is they'll do the same thing that these people are supposed to do. And that's to share with you the telephone number and the services that are available to you in the community. So, as I said before, I've expressed my concern, whoever is here, about this number. It's a waste to start with. Okay, and the 211 is fantastic. So I suggest to all of you that you call that 211 number, and you'll be very, very impressed.
Now, is that for any population or is that for?
Any population.
Okay.
It's any population, and for anything from a community service point of view. And as I say, they're national, and they have different, whenever you call, you get the area that's consistent with where you're living. And as I say, 9 o'clock last night, 24/7, 24/7. I called them up also at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing. Nothing. I rang, then finally the message came on and said, well, if it's an emergency, call up Alice. If it's not an emergency, we'll call you back. Then about 4 days ago, I called up and the report came on saying that this is inbox is full. So I'm just saying, we've been promoting this. We've been promoting this in our magazine and on the front page and things like that. And again, I can't be strong enough to say, if there is somebody here represented, I'd be glad to share and speak to you also. I'm sorry, yes.
Is that the one that says senior support?
I'm sorry.
It says
Yeah.
senior support.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, everything.
They gave us a 1 month support. I know. And that's bad. I think these people are bad.
I'm sorry.
They gave us a whole bunch of those to give away.
Oh, I know. Oh, I put them in our area, the community, and now I'm embarrassed that it's there.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. As I say, I've pulled up half a dozen times, literally, all times of the day. Never at nighttime, because I know they're not there. So complete waste. And again, you get a chance, call up 211. And now it says here, how are the funds provided by Senior Service Commission granted utilized? The funds are used to source and redistribute food to low-income seniors at sites throughout Oxnard. They not only do they food and source seniors, they also sell food to other organizations in town who then also do seniors. But they have three groups of people that I had been talking about for a long time also. So they're servicing the seniors, they're servicing the low income and children. So not the same children I was talking about. I'm talking about the grown-up children who support their parents at the old age. But so this is unbelievable what they do. The other thing is they have a new grant that we just received from the government, and it's called, I forgot the word down, CSFP. Okay, serving 1,000 seniors in Ventura County. Now it's really funny. I walked in there and I met with, what's her name again? Christy, and I'm there 3 minutes. And the 3 minutes, after, only 3 minutes, she asked me the following thing, and I'll just write it down, what she sent me in her note. I thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you about food share and all the challenges we are facing regarding outreach. They have the same problem that everyone has, the same problem. And one of the problems that they have is with this CSFP is that they're supposed to satisfy the grant regulations, take care of 3,500 seniors. They can't, they've only reached 1,000. They're having a hard time reaching the other 2,500. And that's the reason why she referenced over here, the outreach program. So what I've done is I spoke to Renee also, and I've asked her to put on the agenda for September, both Susan and also Christy, who could give you a much better explanation of what they're doing than I could possibly do in 5 minutes. So I'm sure that'll be on the agenda, and I've already told them, so they'll be here on September 12th, I think it is. So you'll be very, very impressed. I was very impressed with them, more so than any of the other organizations. I shouldn't say more so. If not more so, just as well as many of the other organizations I've seen and been been exposed to. And again, in the final analysis, if you get a chance, call 211 and throw this away.
Yeah.
The part of food share that we fund is the brown bag program. We don't, that $2,000 goes strictly for brown bag.
Well, I
It's
think
still
that's
not
part of
much money, but they have so much money coming in grants.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
Well funded.
very well funded, right?
it. You talk about the senior kids? No, not the senior kids.
Well, now that bond is gone. They laid off all the nonprofits. Really.
Well, they're great. They, with their budget, and as I say, I was very impressed with their professionalism. They knew what the hell they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Plus the fact to say, they are also supplying other organizations in town with food when they have a surplus, which they sell to them. So of course, I've heard it's a win-win situation for everyone.
When I go to the RSVP luncheon, now that, when I wasn't at the VIP table, it seemed like every other volunteer there worked for Food Share. They're amazing. They go out and glean the fields. They're just wonderful people.
And so I was very impressed with the whole organization.
Okay, any questions?
And I hope that to some degree we can contribute more money next year. They didn't ask for that. But again, whatever we contribute, we insignificant relative to $3 million.
Mhm.
Al, you said 1,000 people were served in Oxford. Are those all seniors?
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
They
It
are.
goes back to the senior share program that we used to have. But now it's called the CSFP. But again, they can give more justice than I can. They know what they're talking about, and they could articulate the program much better than I possibly can with 2 meetings.
Okay.
I'm finished.
Where are they located?
Excuse me?
Where were they located?
Oh, shit. Well, the first time I got lost, they
Not
were
what street, but what town?
4156 South Bank Road in Oxnard.
Oh, they're in Oxnard.
You got a vineyard.
Yeah.
So you know
Once I
where
went that way,
the
it was
juvenile
easy.
hall is in
Yes,
Central?
yes.
The backyard of it is also the backyard of Food Share.
They have a garden out
As a
there.
matter of fact, I was speaking to the young lady, woman yesterday, and she maintains the garden for them. She was showing me, she was so proud of the zucchini and all the other things she had there. So they even had corn. They were growing corn also there. But again, that's not for, well, I guess they distribute it. Yeah. But the thing I was not impressed with, the thing that I was interested in is the fact that they also sell food to other organizations who distribute food throughout
I didn't know that.
Oxnard and Ventura County. Yeah. So say they know what they're doing.
Good people.
And they want our help for outreach purposes. I thought that was funny.
Go figure.
I was there 3 minutes, and she asked us for our help.
Because they must have heard how smart we were.
I assume so, or maybe I just look smart. That's all I can do. But
It's a very
It's called
clean
networking.
place, very organized, with the food and the boxes, in the shelves. And they also have the youth facility, not too far from there. They ask the help of the youth facility, there's a prison-like facility for juveniles. And they ask the help of those kids to give them credit, for their.
They help in the garden, I think, is what you're saying. The kids from the Judy Hall help in the garden.
They have also in packing and receiving, packing the foods.
Okay. Well, thank you. I have a report on caregivers. And I thought we were going to have a video, but I guess it's not going to work out. Caregivers started in 1984 by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet as a pilot program for a community-based nonprofit to meet the growing needs of the U.S. senior population. The pilot program developed into a full-fledged program here in Ventura County, and currently their office is in Ventura, and their mission statement is dignity for life. Caregivers' mission is to promote health, well-being, dignity, independence of frail, homebound elders through one-on-one relationships with trusted volunteers. They provide non-medical in-home support services and transportation for homebound frail seniors, preventing their premature placement in board and care facilities and making it possible for them to continue to live in the comfort and security of their homes. Caregivers makes an effort to match a carefully screened and trained volunteer to a frail homebound elder who needs basic assistance and companionship in order to foster a long-term one-on-one relationship. Their executive director is Tammy Glenn. They have 5 employees, 3 full-time and 2 part-time. They provide screening, background checks, fingerprinting, and training for their volunteers who are matched with seniors. The cost of doing this screening, etc., is $820 per each volunteer. So that is, their major expenses, training volunteers. The salaries for caregivers for these 5 employees is $246,000. Their annual budget is $425,000. So their salaries are more than half their annual budget. We gave them last year, I believe, $6,000. I was trying to find my notes. They asked for 10, but we gave them 10,000 or 6,000. They serve countywide. They serve about 500 seniors. But in Oxnard last year, they served 116 seniors, which is 23% of their total seniors served. The volunteers in Oxnard, we have 72 volunteers for caregivers, including the Building Bridges, which are high school students. It's an intergenerational program. And the high school students are great because they'll go and wash windows, vacuum, dust, mop, and do yard work. So there was a cute video. There's some, I don't know, it's food truck or something.
The good truck.
Good truck, yeah. And I wanted to show the video. I could send the link. But anyway, they came and honored caregivers. And they went into a senior's home and they videotaped them talking to the senior and everything. And then they had La Dolce Vita prepare a meal as a thank you to the caregiver volunteers. So it's a cute video. But my next door neighbor is a caregiver volunteer. And she tells me what she does. And she has a lady here in Oxnard who's quite fragile. And so they become just really good friends. And when the lady has a problem, she calls Regina, and Regina will go with her. She has to go to the hospital, the doctor's office. She'll take her grocery shopping. And I don't know what else she does, but she gives about 1 morning a week to her senior. But they talk on the phone all the time. I think it's one of those things you develop a relationship, just on a minimal basis, and it just kind of grows. And so it's really wonderful. It's a fabulous organization. So I'm sorry I can't show you the video, but maybe another day. So that's my report. There are no fees for their services either.
So this is for people coming.
Our caregivers, is it a part of a wider network of, it's only here in Ventura?
They have, the Sisters of St. Joseph started it, and then each community decided and Ventura County kept it. And I think there's another program similar that started out as a pilot program at the same time, I think in Florida or someplace like that. But this is not, I think it's part of a network of volunteer organizations, but it's pretty unique.
And so this is provide for those who can't afford service, probably, yeah. Because you can pay to have people do this, but this would be great.
Right, for low income, yeah. It's provides a personal touch to people who are alone. So that's my report. And moving right along, we didn't introduce your husband, Kathy. Would you like to introduce your husband? I thought he was some real important.
My husband, Rich. Since we're a little bit on our homeless side right now, he came out with me this morning. We just returned yesterday from vacation, and we're off here to pick up our mail and do some things while we're here and watch a movie, so.
Glad you could
But
be
he
here.
doesn't have a place to come, so he's just not right up with your meeting.
Oh, good too.
So Renee is on vacation. She's at Bass Lake swimming and whatever. And so Mary Sue, I guess, will give the
Commission report.
commission report.
She didn't ask me to tell you about anything, so I thought I'd just point out in your packet that there's a rummage sale coming up on August 19th. If you know anybody who's got a lot of things they'd like to sell, the spaces are $20 for one space, which is a car spot in the parking lot at Wilson. Obviously a benefit for senior services. So, and then obviously, as well as a benefit for the person who's trying to get rid of all their stuff. And then you also have this senior or summer programs. These are all free programs being put on by Recreation and Community Services. They're not particularly aimed at our seniors, but they are things, particularly if a senior is taking care of their grandchildren, they might want to bring them to over the course of the summer. So I wanted to bring your attention to that. And the summer lunch program is happening at 3 different sites in Oxnard. For those who usually get their lunch at school.
I was just going through my things and I see this senior kit. They tell you about this
I'm sorry.
at Food Share.
That is the CS. The CSFP is Commodity Supplemental Food Program.
That's for 60 years and older, no income, including children. That's the new program that they have granted to have grants for. And they can feed, again, they're only feeding 1,000 now. They want to be able to feed 3,500.
So they're free boxes of food. They have canned fruits and vegetables, juice, canned meats and fish, beans or peanut butter, cheese, pasta, cereal, and shelf-stable milk. And then they just have distribution. Here it's Our Lady of Guadalupe Church,
And they are looking for new sites.
Grace Bible, and New Life Community Church. So if the family size is 1, the annual income is supposed to be under 15,444. If the family's 2, the family income is 20,000. So anyway, that's part of Al's
Right.
report.
Is that
I'm
okay?
giving your
Yeah.
report for you.
You're supplementing his report.
There's an application that has to be filled out in order to be able to take advantage of the program.
Yeah. But anyway, we've got so much opportunity.
Right, just to get it out to the people, it's our.
Yeah. How do we tell people? Okay, so, new business, senior services programs and details. Recommendation, the commission receive updates on senior services and programs. So there you go,
So,
senior kids.
you also have your senior excursions in your packet, which I believe, unless I misplaced it. No, okay, I goofed, sorry. I switched the July, calendar for the excursion, sorry. It wasn't the last one, okay.
I think it was, yeah.
And I think, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I heard Alma say that most of these are already full. That the only one left that isn't full is Laughlin, which is a switch, because we used to always fill up Laughlin and wait to fill up the other one, so. Well, it's in September.
Oh, okay.
So,
Beyond the 100.
and then, for RSVP, I just wanted to make you aware that on July 18th, which is next Tuesday, we have new instructors for Bone Builders class coming up, if anybody's interested. Particularly if you know of anybody in your, Jeff just got it approved for us to offer classes within the area he lives in. And so if you have anybody that you know who'd be a good instructor there, July 18th, it's next Tuesday, it's here comes back. We've got that. Alice, I forgot about this, thank you. We are, as you know, we've teamed with CSUN in the past, the Department of Physical Therapy, to do a study on bone builders. And we started a class in Camarillo because I had a wait list there. So we're starting a new class on July 25th in Ventura because that's where the physical therapy office is that they're going to do the testing. And so we've got a new class starting July 25th in Ventura for the same thing. People have to get signed up though this week because they do a pre-test or I call it an intake, on the 15th or 16th, and then the following weekend, they actually test your balance. It's some awesome machines and stuff that it's apparently about a $300 value, these balance testings that they do on them. So then they'll do our class for 12 weeks, and at the end of the 12 weeks, they'll get the balance tested again to see if there's an improvement. So we're trying to measure our impact on their balance from over the course of 3 months. And I'm hoping they're going to measure the first group from Camarillo. August 1st or August 2nd is a year since they've been together. And that class has not really, they haven't lost many people. So they've been doing bone builders for a year. And the participants know the students, so they've been contacting them. And I've contacted them about coming in and having them go back. They're very dedicated. This group in Camarillo is very dedicated to proving that we made a difference. And so they've been really religious about showing up for class and practicing and things like that. So we're hoping that CSUN will do the testing on them as well to see if they can, what the impact after a year is versus just 3 months. So that's something I've been working on trying, and I use Nextdoor. Got to get one person from the Nextdoor.com in Ventura.
Are we having a summer barbecue this year? Is it in the plans?
There is a summer barbecue for senior services. Yeah, let me look at my calendar. It's planned for August 24th. There's nothing in writing about that, is there? It's August 24th, and I believe, because I walked back there and looked at the space this last week, I believe it's going to be in the Rose Garden. We were talking about carnival games back there and where to put food and pop-up tents so that people were in the shade. The backside, the side closer to Oxnard Boulevard or A Street, and then the alley is pretty much flat grass, which you can't see from the park. So we talked about how you get in and how to decorate it and where to put things.
What time is that?
I can't help you with that. I don't know.
Usually about 11.
11 would be my guess.
Yeah, 11 to 2 kind of thing.
Usually it's
They've had it at the beach park,
right.
and I think this is brilliant having it at Rose Garden.
Well, and it's our property and the parking history. I don't know if they charge us for parking at the beach park or not.
I think they did.
And Ida is, I think, the one planning it. She was out there with Renee and I looking at the property. And then I also wanted to let you know I have a Tai Chi training coming up on July 28th and 29th. If you know anybody who wants to teach Tai Chi for me. It'll be our 4th class of instructors. I'm hoping to get some of the folks from our 2nd class into teaching finally. It's been pretty slow getting them off the dime. It's a lot different than I anticipated, and it's far different from bone builders.
It's difficult. I have a friend who's part of your trainers thing, and she said it was really difficult.
Yeah.
Because you had to pass it, and know so much and learn it so quickly. Yeah.
Right, and with bone builders, we're moving your arm or your leg.
Yeah.
With Tai Chi, you're moving your arm and your leg and your torso and your head all at one time. And there's specific ways that the arms need to be when they're in movement and stuff. So it is a lot more than I had never done Tai Chi or really only seen it kind of, in passing. Oh, that's Tai Chi, that looks cool. So
Okay, I go. I don't know.
You've been going to the one at Wilson?
I like it, the Wilson Center.
Yeah, no, I've been.
So it is very different. We'll get there. I'm not worried about it. Just take some time, inch by inch. And I think that's all I have.
Christine's boss sent out some information, and I think I'll do it here instead of later. She's with VC AAA, and she sent a note, the Oxnard Police Investigation Unit, including property crimes, is hosting a crime prevention fair on Saturday, July 29th from 10 to 2. And they're looking for groups to participate and put out, tables and everything. Any group is welcome to set out a table for distributing information and products that would be helpful in the mission of preventing crimes. But the first hour, they're going to have a shred truck, for shredding your stuff. And they'll have an ID theft, fraud, scam prevention table. There'll be other demonstrations to target hardened vehicles, I don't know what that is, homes and businesses.
Maybe hardening so that somebody can't break into it. Maybe that's what that means.
And businesses for the theft crime. And an agency, there was something about elder abuse, and I skipped over that. Family protection unit. Oh, up here, fraud, ID theft, and elder financial abuse, and family protection, elder physical abuse are holding a crime prevention fair. I thought, that would be a great place for us to if they're going to target seniors, have us there with some of our brochures. I don't know why we don't hear about this. They don't go through us. They don't tell us that they're going to do senior abuse.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
What day is it?
It's a Saturday, July 29th. And I can't be there, but I just thought, if they're going to be attracting seniors, then those are the kind of events we need to have a presence. So,
Where is this going to be?
well, it'd be helpful if they said.
Well, that's also Salsa Festival weekend, which is really tough. If it's gonna be here, that's a very bad time to do it.
Especially if it's anywhere near downtown.
With the police department in it?
I don't see where it is. Detective Erica Escalante is the one who sent out the memo. And so I don't know, this is just typical of how we operate around here. But
Well, it's like the guy.
Alice, how are they distributing this information,
this came to me through VC AAA. It didn't come to me from the city of Oxford.
Was anyone at the senior fair this Saturday at the fairgrounds? Big senior fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I saw it, I didn't know.
I didn't go.
I saw
I
the
heard
thing in the
about it.
paper.
But no one knows. From what I was told, one of our neighbors went there. She said it was virtually no one there. There were more vendors, so to speak, than there were participants, which is not uncommon. Not
Crime
uncommon at all.
prevention.
See, I've been in the past and it was well attended.
Yeah, I've been in the past too.
I wonder. Well, I'll bring it to Renee's attention when she gets back from.
I'll look it up, see if it's on their website, but
Anyway, there's stuff like this going on all the time, just like what they did at the Wilson Center, fixing toasters and that kind of thing. I didn't know anything about it.
And they didn't even come to us and say, we're gonna do,
Right.
would you like it? Do you think it'd be
Yeah.
helpful?
Yeah.
So anyway, I have thoughts on that, but that's, okay.
Can I pass on 2 more dates, Alice? Well, we'll talk.
Put it on there.
On Saturday, August 26th, from 9:45 to 2.
Somebody do.
A day of repair what?
There's a military veteran expo for folks who are veterans or active duty military. It'll be held at the Camarillo Community Center. I've had a booth there in the past for RSVP. It's well attended, it's well organized. If you know anybody who's a veteran who is looking for services, it's a great place for them to go and do some research, meet some folks who can help them. If you're registered, you have to show your DD 214. Your card. You can get a free lunch. They have usually have jackets from Patagonia for active duty military for their students, for the youth. So that's a date if you know anybody. Like I said, 8/26 at the Camarillo Senior Center. And then just a reminder, October 21st is the Senior Summit. We haven't gotten anything besides the notice that it's happening on October 21st. It'll be out at Cal State Channel Islands. They did email something out asking a survey, asking for people to fill out the survey. It's going to be about technology this year. And they were asking how you used your technology and what you needed to learn. So I passed that out to all the bone building instructors.
The Senior Summit is sponsored by the Board of Supervisors. And
That's the
it's-
15th?
21st of October at Cal State Channel Islands. You'll have to, I think you have to make a reservation,
Yeah.
but it hasn't come out yet.
Didn't they also provide some transportation to get there this year? or
They
last year?
have in the past.
The
yes.
Family Circle donates their vans and drivers, or you can drive out there, but the parking's a problem. But they provide lunch and they have a keynote, and it's interesting. Okay, so now we'll talk about the grant application. I think there was a subcommittee that worked on this
Yeah.
grant application. So Renee asked that you look it over. We don't have to take any action. But if you have any recommendations, you can.
Well, the most important change on the application this year, next year, rather, that has been in the past, is that Kathy and I worked with Renee on it also. And that's, we're saying that 100% of the granted funds have to be utilized in Oxnard. We hadn't had that before.
Oh, okay.
So it seems like it's a natural, and it should be that way. And so that's the big change as far as I remember. There were a lot of small changes.
One of the things I thought we talked about was that they would also have to provide it at 6 months into the program, what they've done with the money so far.
Progress.
It was that.
I think so, but I'm not sure. The only thing I really remember was Renee called me on it to tell me that it'll be 100% utilized in Oxnard. I didn't read the whole thing, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, a final grant report shall be,
Yeah, it's due on
update
June
the
30th.
midterm information.
Interim report for
Final
operating
report.
funds on June 30th.
Oh, in the, yeah. So
It does.
I guess it would help if we read it.
Well, yeah, I didn't read, I looked at it, but I didn't read all the details.
I just went to this part when I was doing my report, you know.
I read
make
the
sure.
whole thing, very carefully.
Good.
But you didn't know where the interim report
I
was.
only read it, I didn't understand.
You read- Yeah, you don't remember. You don't retain.
I don't remember.
Right, I can't remember, it's too short.
Yeah, now Dennis has an excuse, but your collarbone
Right.
doesn't affect your memory.
I have a question since I'm new to this. Do we ask for new applicants or is it the same? group?
You publish, you know, grants are available.
Okay,
Um,
because some of the questions here were specific. So if somebody were not in the program,
We have to put non-applicable.
oh, you just write new applicant, not relevant.
We picked up a new one a couple of years ago, Action. We hadn't had them before. And, you know, it's weird because we didn't have BC AAA. There were a couple of years that they didn't apply. And now they're applying again, you know. But we still have the very little amount of money to share. Obviously, we're not funding them, we're just helping these programs.
And it's 10 copies that. Is that
And
some-
so we each get one.
Oh, I see.
When,
That almost uses up their whole grant.
Well, that's my thing, you know, if they hire a grant writer to write this, you know,
Right.
well,
That-
only Food Share can afford the grant writer.
Right.
And the people like Action, and they do it themselves, and
Sure.
that's why they can fill it out and do it. You know the difference, and it's to me, I'm more attracted to the small companies, small groups, because they really depend on our money. Where, you know, Food Share is gonna, yes, they not need our money, but it isn't dependent.
that's how I feel too.
Alice, you know the budget for BCAA, AAA, the annual budget?
Oh,
Approximately.
you know, it's a couple of $1 million, but I can't tell you right now, short-term memory.
So the number, the amount that's referenced in here is the same. It was like 43,000, 44,600.
Yeah, it's usually about the same amount every year.
So we're assuming it'll be about the same. Again, it's real on the double.
We do, it's dependent on money that the city gets from
Right.
federal grant, and they give a piece of it to us to distribute locally. Isn't that right, Mary Sue?
It's actually part of the general fund.
Oh, it's part of the general fund, it isn't
Right.
part of the.
It's not part of the
grant.
federal grant. General fund dollars.
I think it's more of a good faith donation. Okay, so moving on to the subcommittee report. So the Ventura County Agency on Aging Advisory Council. This Thursday, we're having the food coupon distribution at the
Farmers market.
Farmers Market, Thursday downtown Farmers Market. Alice, are you available on Thursday morning?
Not this Thursday.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm gonna go and Addie Esparza was gonna come, and she's Spanish speaking, so I don't have anybody Spanish speaking. I think Desiree's supposed to come. Is she Spanish speaking?
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, I think she does.
Yeah.
Well, she's there every.
Anyway, she's gonna be there, but they have these coupon books, and they're like $25 worth of coupons to buy groceries for low-income seniors. I've never done it before. So that's one of the things that they're doing. We have an advisory council tomorrow morning. What do you have to report, Clark?
Not really too much. The only thing I wanted to add is that I'm going to be on the livable communities because we're required to be on 2 subcommittees for the area agency. And I'm going to be on livable communities, and then I'm also planning on going into the outreach, which we're talking about as far as dissemination of information and so forth. But we've got the agenda. I've left it at home. I really don't have anything to report.
Mm-hmm.
You, Alice?
No. So, other than the thing tomorrow. So,
Oh, I'd like to mention one thing. This isn't necessarily the activity they're doing to some degree, but we were talking about the various events and so forth that are going on. And AAA does an excellent job of sending out brochures and emails and so forth that list all the different events that are happening. And perhaps what we could do is talk to them to see if we could get the members of this committee on that email list. Because those events are very, very interesting, very helpful and useful. And there needs to be more information of this type that gets disseminated out to the public. Here again, we've got the outreach.
If you go on Facebook and like them, pull up BC AAA on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and like them, then you will get everything, because I'm still getting all the information. They don't put everything out, like even weekly, but when they have an announcement about what's going on and what are their activities they're doing, you'll get it. At least that's one way to get it, but the email might be a good thing too.
Or, what about the possibility, since you received that already, if you were able to then forward it to the other commissioners so that we could receive it by email?
I'll try. The thing is, that I'm not that good from the standpoint of emails and so forth, but I can give it a shot. Because it would be good to forward it. I think that the commission members should be on that list.
Alice, you received that email as well, correct?
Mhm.
So perhaps you could even send that out and just forward it to the other
Yeah,
commissioners?
and I think
Mhm.
this subcommittee that we have,
Right,
we'll work on it that way.
I think so.
Because we have another committee that we're working on to create more awareness.
Yeah, more communication.
As far as like caregivers, I've formed a relationship with Tammy Glenn. So she sends me emails all the time about what they're doing, and that's how I found out about the YouTube video. And Renee didn't even get it, and I told her about it, and so then I shared it with her. So I think it's developing a relationship with these people that we'll figure out some way to do that without breaking the ground.
Oops. Here's your crime prevention fair.
Oh. When, where? 251 South C Street, so that's police department?
I would assume that's the police department.
But, so weekend.
But they may have done that in conjunction, knowing that there are a lot of people there at the, that are attending the Salsa Festival, and it's easy for them then to walk over to the police station. So it may have been on purpose that they scheduled it that way. Being able, that way they get the word out and people can go by and see what something happened. So it's probably in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
Is
Now,
C Street
this-
closed during the Salsa Festival?
Pardon?
Is C Street
No.
closed?
Fifth Street is, between B and C, only part of B Street is closed.
This doesn't say anything about elder abuse on here.
No, but it's the same day.
And you're supposed to wear your family-friendly crime-fighting costume, so. So wear your Superman costume.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, okay.
Good,
Good, remember Wonder Woman.
That's interesting. Okay, and it's sponsored by Next Door Neighbor, it says.
Well, it was
Or
on,
Nextdoor.
it was on nextdoor.com.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
To me, on next door, you have to open it up and hit events in order to see it.
Oh.
And that which, takes time, and how many times at least I don't have time to do that.
It's just a chore.
Yeah, it's one more thing to do.
Okay, Kay, you want to tell us what you're doing with the new senior center?
And Kathy and Clark. We have to, one of the things when you're setting up a new group, a nonprofit group, you have to secure your name, just for your information. So we've done that, which is an interesting thing, but it's one of those things we're learning. So Mike went through and got our name secured. And now
What's that mean?
that means so that no one else can use your name and no one's using that same name. We're using the name Orcas,
Oh, okay,
Oxnard.
kind of copyright.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. And you put a hold on that name. And well, those interesting kind of things you learn as you go through this. At least I found that was interesting. And then we're signing the articles of incorporation and sending them to the thing at our next meeting. So we're progressing as we learn. One of the big things we have right now is that we need an address. To be an organization, we need an address. And where is the address going to be? And that's one of our big concerns right now. We're trying to work that out. In fact, the technicality, I sent an email to Renee, and I wasn't aware she was on vacation last week, and I haven't heard back from her. Is anyone opening up her emails? Or it'll probably wait until she gets back on Monday?
She'll be back on the 17th.
That's Monday. Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you've,
And
how much?
There's a $30 donation from Bill Terry and Gloria Roman. It looks like many of you watch the city council. They've slowed down, but in the past, they've been very active. They're very active, interesting seniors. They're very interested in helping, so they gave me a $30 donation for the new center.
And that will be our first,
Bill Terry and
to
Gloria
put,
Roman.
open a bank account, but we can't open a bank account until we got our articles of incorporation approved by the city, by the state of California. So, this is, and we know this is ready to go, but, and so.
Kathy talked to them. They were at the senior, what is that? Talent show.
No, sure, yeah, no, you introduced.
I was
So you
You
talked
introduced
to
me,
them.
yeah, and I talked.
No, I did, yeah.
And I got their name and address and everything.
Oh, you
But they-
got
they-
it, okay.
Yeah, they're not really interested, because I tried to see if one of them would like to volunteer, but they weren't really interested in, being on, at this point. But I thought this was nice. And I tried to, reach you, and you were last week, or, anyway, you were out of town, and so I haven't gotten back to you to say, how much was this?
If, along with that, one of the things is that we have such a high Hispanic population in Oxnard, and we would really love to have somebody on our, that joins us in all of the preparations and the planning that is Hispanic, and, to reach out a little bit more to that culture. So if anybody knows someone, yeah, that would be wonderful.
Technically, I don't know if you can come on.
Because I think
No, I
at this point,
can
since we
help.
have
You can
9,
help.
I think since we, I think since we have 9 now full commissioners, that we could add the 4th, because it's just under half, is that
I
correct?
believe that's correct.
So that at this point, we could not before when we were low in staff of commissioners, but I think at this point that
Could
she
you
would
like
be
the
able to.
outreach, like you said? I don't know that I could be out at the meetings to the.
Okay, but you'll be glad once we.
Yeah, interesting.
Or maybe when we have a discussion just on that, you could come for that.
And when are you having another meeting with
Well, we're
the,
meeting this coming Wednesday, tomorrow.
at the, Camarillo?
No, this is here,
Oh, no, I'm talking about what is it, the transportation, Camarillo?
We don't need you to spend your time doing
No,
that.
but you're done with that?
No, we have one more to go to, but it's just a per punctuate kind of thing. We show up with a smile and. Yeah,
And they tell us no.
but we gotta show up. Somebody's gotta show up. But, I'd rather use your time for something more productive than that, is what I'm trying to
Somebody
say.
said that you're persistent at those meetings and eventually they'll say yes.
Um,
It's just their way of saying no every time.
No, on these,
Transportation meetings.
on those transportation, we just have to go back to the city council and have them override.
Yeah, Renee wanted me to say that the LA Airport Authority meeting is now being held on July 17th at 7 o'clock in Camarillo City Council chambers. The subcommittee was going, or is planning to go, right?
Yeah, we'll have our.
That's just to let the commissioners know that it's happening.
Do you need other people to attend that?
It's not a good use at this time. There's enough, and even just one of us showing up. The city staff shows up, does a presentation. So it's a very important, but I'd rather use your time on something else. Because we know they're gonna say no, but we have to go through the steps.
What does ORCAS stand for again? I know you've told us.
Oxnard Recreation Center for Adults and Seniors.
So you see, we've already built into what our symbol is gonna be.
Yeah, I should. know that.
Center for Adults and Seniors, ORCS.
Nothing else, I should.
Okay, well, I keep hoping that someday you're gonna say, oh, you've got all our permission and we're ready to move forward. We're just not there yet.
Yeah, we broke ground, that's.
The silver shovel.
That you'll all have to attend.
Yeah, and Renee had sent out an email to all the commissioners about the meeting next Monday, and I said, oh, yeah, I can be there. And she said, don't bother.
Yeah.
So, it'll be whatever. Okay, so moving right along, we have a subcommittee for exactly what we're talking about, trying to create awareness of our senior population. And so Al suggested that we put it on the agenda so that you know what we're doing. So who wants to go first? Al?
Al,
Yeah.
you hit us.
Yeah. You're the one who wanted it on there.
I don't remember saying that. No?
Our last meeting, it was Clark, Al,
Jeff.
Jeff, and me.
And Alice, you're Alice.
I'm Alice. And so we're so frustrated with the fact that there's all this stuff going on and we don't know about it. You know, things that we have worthy programs and people don't know about. So we're working as a subcommittee to try and figure out a better way to bring our programs. And so they asked Clark and me to go to Victoria Jump. And so I have a report from our visit with Victoria Jump, but I don't know that I should give that report now or wait and give it when we meet.
You want to give some highlights?
Yeah, Victoria said that 5 years ago, VC AAA was in the same boat as we are right now, frustrated, trying to get our message out, and nobody's listening. And so she just, and I don't know how long she's been there.
I don't know either.
I think as long as I've been here, so, 13 years at least.
So anyway, she said 5 years ago, we asked her, how do we increase awareness and assistance from other organizations, blah, blah, blah. And she said that 5 years ago, she realized they lacked cohesiveness. They couldn't figure out who they were, what they were doing. They couldn't sell their message. And so they rebranded. And she says, everybody wants to do the trifolds, like, you know, and she says, you know, that just goes in the trash. So they went to postcards and they have the same colors, you know, so that they want to be identifiable. And she says, it takes forever. You know, you just have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. They had a strategic plan that they had to present to the Board of Supervisors. She said it's her responsibility to see that the strategic plan is implemented. But the council is just an advisory group to her, but it's staff that drives this. She said our SWOT, S-W-O-T, was a great beginning to our efforts. And she says it'll take us years to successfully sell our message, which was not what I wanted to hear.
No.
And she said, repeat, repeat, repeat. And she said, use social media, not only the children, but the grandchildren of the people. And that's why I thought this crime prevention fair would be a good place for us to have a presence. And she suggested, she said, videos are very effective in carrying a message. So instead of the trifold, do videos, short videos. And interestingly enough, when we had to do a report on our food service to VCAAA, because we provide hot meals, Renee had a little video done. I think Miguel helped her with the video. And they loved it. And so now every community is supposed to do a video to present to VCAAA. So she said video is, people want to see other people talking, you know, rather than reading something, you know, it's a visual thing. And she said, key, this is really key, do presentations in schools and agencies where people go for services, police, fire, businesses, city staff, places where seniors go for help. These employees will then know where to refer seniors. So that's why I thought if we had a table at this crime prevention thing, you know. And so then, and she suggested that we talk to Jeanette Uregi, who's the public information officer for VCAAA. And to get help with newspaper announcements, but I know that Renee, or that Jeanette is also frustrated with the newspaper. And use water bills for mailing, well, we've done that. And be sure it's a language that seniors can understand, and that's where the council comes in, because you can get somebody in an administrative role and can write a brochure, but it has to be something that seniors understand. So anyway, those were some of the suggestions. She's going to look at her files and see if she can find the notes that they used when they were developing their marketing plan. So we're working on it. We have another meeting the 28th or 20th.
So even things like, and it's too late for this year, at the Salsa Festival would be a place to have a booth, like every place that have something, and, you know, and maybe whatever you put in the front, you know, the children with, you know, scenes with, you know, for your grandparents, you know, come see with for your grandparents, you know, kind of thing. So you're attracting the children as well as the seniors.
Right.
Well, you know, like Public Works is required to have some kind of fair or whatever. And I happened to go to the library about a month ago, and they had all these tables set up outside with umbrellas and with different services that Public Works does. That would have been a great place for us to have, you know, because Public Works, you know, as far as handicap access and that kind of thing.
So if you,
But nobody told us they were having it. You know, and obviously it wasn't well attended.
because, but if you could, so your committee maybe might set up a whole packet of stuff. So, and we come to us and say, we have fair on this date, and this date, and this date, and we raise our hands and say, I can go to this one for you, and you hand us this stuff, and we go and we set up our table, and we sit there and smile and have that stuff.
But it's gonna have to come from Renee. She's gonna have to find out where
Right,
we can
yeah, well, that's the
go.
biggest problem.
Yeah, and we, you know, they have the neighborhood council, so they always have a policeman there, but.
Yeah, and
It's our hopes, as with our recreation, for our new senior center, that at future events, once we get established, when we begin our fundraiser, that at all of these, you know, at the Salsa Festival, at all of the different events, civic events going on, Strawberry Festivals, different things, that we do have a booth there and that we can become very visible to get some community support. And from that, and that is one of the goals that we would have, is to be able to be very, very visible. We're gonna have to take in lots of money. And that would be a place to maybe have somebody, a representative of just Oxnard seniors as well. So that I think that it's going to become much more visible as we move forward with
Yeah,
it.
and Victoria suggested
We
that too.
talked about that at our subcommittee meeting,
Yes.
that we could kind of be an avenue to
Exactly.
fundraising.
Yeah.
Not only with citizens, but with corporations or other groups.
Mhm.
So we need to get visible.
Yeah, like, you know, even civic groups like Rotary.
Right, exactly.
And, you know, I mean, and I love that we do really have our name, when, you know, that was part of it, of coming up with a clever name, so that it's very visible, you know, that
It's
you
an
see it,
identity
and,
when it comes to-
you know, I mean, we're at the beach, and it's like, oh, what are the orcas, you know, I mean, and so that people will be attracted to this with our logo, and be able to, that people will come over, want to find out about it, that we even get it on list, so that I believe that this is a way that when we do have these type of events, that we will be able to have just a representative. You know, when people do come, oh, it's like, you know, my mother lives by herself and she needs a little bit of help with, you know, blah, 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 and being able to, you know, then being able to address those questions.
Yeah, we talked about that, and Al and I both have corporate backgrounds, and having an identity and a logo is critical. You know, he worked for Bank of America. I think when he worked, he kind of worked.
A long time ago, yes.
You know, when I worked for Unilever, and you know, Nabisco was a big client of mine for many years, and anything Nabisco made, there was the Nabisco logo. Everybody knew it was Nabisco. You didn't have, and that's the same with any big product. And we don't have that. You know, we have an Oxnard logo, which stands for everything good and bad about Oxnard. And We're trying to come up with something, you know, you're ahead of us on that.
Yeah, but that's very clever,
Yeah.
Seniors create some kind of logo.
Yeah, that when someone sees it, they know this represents seniors. It doesn't mean your water bill's in your mailbox or your whatever, tax bill or whatever. This is something good about seniors. It's hard though, and it's frustrating. We kind of beat each other up.
Alice, I might suggest, when we're handing out the coupons, the nutrition, the food coupons on Thursday, that it might be a good idea to also have the calendar for senior services.
Sure.
When you've got something to give, people come, right?
Oh, yeah, anytime there's something free.
Right.
Yeah.
You can, they may not pick up the calendar, just offhandedly, but if you're giving away food, just food coupons, they may actually come and just make it part of the packet. This is what we're doing in Oxnard and, you know, here's your coupons.
That's great. Yeah.
I'm just worried that I'm gonna get there and,
We're gonna be out in 5 minutes.
well, no, that I'm not gonna be able to communicate.
Oh.
So, I was counting on Addie and her husband's not well, so. Anyway, but we're working on it. We don't have, there's no magic solution. Victoria didn't have it. She just said repeat. She was very gracious, I felt. She spent a lot of time with us.
One of the things I wanted to add is that with her saying repeat, she also said, when you send out information, have, let's say, the logo or whatever it is, very visible, but also consistent. When you did, because part of the problem that they had, when they sent out information, sometimes it looked like it was from AAA, other times it looked like they didn't know what. And they didn't have let's say, a consistent logo or whatever the case. You probably recall that part of the conversation. I'm still sort of stumbling over it, but the,
So every time we do something, we would know, we'd get something, we would know, like it would come from the Oxford
Exactly.
Seniors Commission or senior programs.
They had to develop one face with one color, one logo, one message.
right.
They redid all the messages, including taglines, colors, and then who are we to the community? But they didn't do buttons.
They didn't what?
Buttons. I want buttons. That was my great idea.
It's still on the table.
Nobody
It's
likes
still-
my idea.
I know,
I think it's part of a plan. Yeah, here's a senior calendar and,
Al is not.
And here's a button.
and the logo on the senior calendar is the city logo. And that's the same as that's on everything you get.
Yeah.
from the
And the
city.
city insists on having their logo on everything.
Well,
Because
it
for the
could
same
be-
reason that Nabisco did.
Right, but it could be here
Oh, yeah.
and then the senior logo.
And I
could
do
be
that with
here.
RSVP.
Yeah.
My RSVP is up here now.
I'm not saying to get rid of them.
Right.
You won't be able to. They do pay for that.
They do belong. We pay for that.
So-
You don't
Yes.
live in there.
No, I don't.
We are so fortunate because we have an awesome commission. You know, we have some really, really talented people. So we'll keep working at it. So, commission comments. The commissioners may individually report on any items of interest or concern outside of the subcommittee reports. So anybody have anything interesting?
You want a percent?
Go ahead. I'll follow you.
My question is I'd like to, hear from Mary Sue. You know, we were concerned with you a few months ago, of, you know, that you had told us about your job and all of that. So do you have any update on this that you can share with us?
Funding for the Corporation for National and Community Service on the federal level is not included in the president's budget still. It's a recommended budget. He's got enough money in there to close the entire department, and that's all. So, and beyond that, there's, you know, the House and the Senate, I understand they're gonna start working on their budget. It's supposed to be done by October 1st. That's the new budget year. I don't know where we go from there, so I can't tell you. It's not a real update, is it? It's just status quo.
Yeah, okay, well, we're just concerned, and we, so if there's any change or anything, if you could let us know, we'd, love to hear about that.
What they tell us is if you value something, you should let people know.
Right.
Thank you.
The question I had a few minutes ago was brought up about the Brown Act. And I'd like to get some clarification because I'm sure that we could violate the Brown Act if we send out information that was going to create a dialogue. But if we sent out information that was strictly information and not something that would create a dialogue, are we all right in doing that? And this goes to the information that AAA sends out, and if we just want to send out for forward the email that we had or had received, is that all right and not a violation of the Brown Act?
You say forward to,
Yeah,
just the committee. I think Renee's point was it had to be all the commissioners instead of cherry pick the
yeah.
list.
And I don't know, perhaps what you need is a, something that indicates that is not an email to create a dialogue back and forth, but for informational purposes only. So,
I think maybe, and I would have to really ask the city attorney about it, but I believe if you send something to everybody, if you BC them, so they can't see that everybody's getting it, so they can't respond to everybody who got it. That way you can't create a group discussion.
I think that's the strategy, is if you BCC, then if you reply, it only replies to the sender, it doesn't send it to everybody. So,
And maybe putting something about this is information only, so there's no discussion. I'm not sure what the absolute rules are though.
I hear what you're saying, and I think that it's more intricate and it's more involved, it's more legal, and it is the Brown Act. And I think that either you or someone would have to speak to the council of the city before we do anything.
but I was on a couple of commissions, and the Brown Act was something that we talked about quite often, so that it is a sensitive issue.
Very much so. It's annoying.
But necessary.
and we're such a subversive group.
Oh, we really are.
We're just trying to help.
Potential to overthrow the city is so great.
We're just trying to help, get the information across, and it's very difficult.
I wish that,
Could that be on the next one on, agenda, have the attorney come? Because we used to have an attorney who would sit on them and they had.
well, didn't he do the Brown Act one meeting? I wasn't here.
But
But this is a specific question.
It
So,
can just be addressed individually.
yeah, we can just ask for a clarification and then have Renee, but I think put it on the agenda.
For an update or clarifications or something.
We used to have an attorney, the city attorney, one of the city attorneys, would come to our meetings, and he was great. And then,
It was part of the cutback. And staff and things.
okay, any other comments? So we'll put that on the future. Email. Thank you. All right. No other suggestions? We're gonna be dark and there's no meeting in August. So our August activity is, choose to come to a picnic. And they sell tickets for that. I forget how much they are, $5 or $7.
Are we on item J yet? I'm sorry. Did you skip over?
You were.
I asked.
I've got some. You go ahead.
No, you go.
Two things. Upon further investigation by you personally, okay, with the 211 number, can you give some consideration to facilitating the elimination of this number here and utilizing the 211 number? I appreciate that. or whomever is responsible for doing that.
Or
I think we all
at
agree
least
based on-
Most report back to the VC AAA the problems we're having.
Well, I did.
Oh, you
I
already did.
talked to VC
Let's
AAA,
continue.
and what they did, they gave, it was a competitive grant. Mary Sue wrote a proposal, and Camarillo got the grant. They got $50,000 to do that. And we even mentioned it at our meeting with Victoria the other day, that it doesn't work. It doesn't go to a person.
So,
Well, they're investigating.
why don't, well, there's no value right now, why not use the 211 number?
Or
So-
I don't know whether you can, or are we committed to, could you also add maybe the two?
Is this the same number as
No,
that?
I wouldn't add, I would do one or the other.
Is this the same number as the magnet?
Yes, it is. This and this is the same. As a matter of fact, to be very candid, we never even had this on there until I brought it up at one of our first meetings, that again, there's a lack of awareness. And they said, well, we have this number. I said, well, why don't you at least publish that number? So this number's been published, but it's of no value.
And then there's another number up at the top for the senior services office. But yeah, that might be, we'll suggest that to Renee, that she put the 211.
But I wouldn't put both, it'd be confusing.
Yeah, this one.
This was my item that I wanted to bring forward to. I think that we should agenda this for the next meeting and make a decision on what is best. And I'll work with you and Renee once she gets back to determine what's here. But when we talk about credibility of the group, credibility of senior services, for me, when I make a call to a store and I get no response, I'm done. I'm moving on.
Oh,
I'll find something
absolutely.
else. So this to me, if the senior calls this, and gets the response that you got,
6 times.
I'm moving on. And that organization doesn't have the credibility that it had before I called. So if we can put it on the next agenda, you and I can work with Renee and coordinate with you.
Okay, I have it, and so we'll do that. And tomorrow I'll mention it to Victoria again, that in your experiences last week.
I'm sorry.
I will mention to Victoria again, your experience this last week with the number.
I wouldn't bother, they're fine.
Well, no, I
No,
mean,
no, they need to know.
they need to know.
Oh, they
because-
know, you've already mentioned it to them.
Well, but again and again and again, like she said, you know.
Politically, I think that's the right step.
And the
And
fact that there's a grant that
Well, then we can
we're
look at
paying
this.
for this.
yeah, they gave them $50,000, and I don't know what it went to, because they thought that somebody was gonna be there answering the phone, and obviously.
As I say, the interesting thing on the 211 number, which I had never even known about, people from Food Share share that with me, because that's one of their vehicles of communication, is 211. And I called last night, I win, 9 o'clock, no problem. They're there 24/7.
RSVP is on there. Should be on 211. I've given them information in the past. Had a little battle to get in there.
No, it's great, I was very impressed.
And the part that, when Al, when you said
It's
that
a
not
machine.
only, the part that when you were saying that not only when you finally did get through to the number, but then it went into an answering, it's like, no, we're not taking any extra calls.
Right.
It's like, I mean, at that point, you're wanting to scream.
Where was the person located that answered the phone?
It's in the Camarillo,
I'm
Oh, she
pretty
can't
sure
tell you.
it's through Interface.
She
It
can't tell you.
used to be.
But she covers
Oh,
this
sure,
area,
where?
she's in California.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
what was she wearing? Was it a male or female?
Oh, you said you got her late at night?
Yeah, but take advantage of it. So, come on, this is being recorded now.
It is, you're going out.
We're alive. Yeah, can we add to the agenda also the repair share that,
Oh.
that Gabriel came in to talk about?
You want to pass it, this,
Oh, okay, repair share. Yeah, I didn't know about repair
Yeah,
share.
I mean, is it something we should, important enough for us to get involved in and get on the calendar? Or
Yeah.
should we just wish them the best?
Yeah, because that's a waste of their time and our time.
No,
Yeah.
So I
I'm not
want it on the
sure.
calendar.
And is there a way to make it better? I
I'm
think
not
that's where the woman who contacted me, we kind of left it. Is there a way? She was thrilled that I said we would discuss it. You know, could we make it, help her make it more
Is it,
successful?
now, he was from Parks and Rec. Is it a Parks and Rec
No,
function?
no.
Whose function is it?
I think what happened is some local people in this, down at the beach, is Hollywood Beach, they were from, got this idea, and they got some local, I don't know where their network came from. They got a guy who could do repairs, they had an IT guy. I think Dottie, the woman who contacted me, was doing sewing. People could bring ripped clothing, stuff like that. And she said, bring your buttons if you need buttons. And they had about 4 or 5 people. They named it Repair Share, and they got the senior, I'm not sure how they connected with Wilson. That's kind of one of the missing links. And they put it together, and the only publicity I saw was on Nextdoor, online.
You know, and I wonder,
And there were thousands of people in Oxnard on Nextdoor. I
yeah,
mean, there are, and of all ages, and we talk about reaching people involved with seniors that aren't seniors, the response on there is strong. In fact, the police post the stuff that you were reading. There's a local down at the beach. I think there were 9 beach communities on this regional thing. I'm on the local police person who's assigned to the region posts all kind of stuff that they're having, and in English and in Spanish. So.
well, I know, we get these things, I don't know where I got it, but they have, maybe it was in the packet that got sent out this week. Movies in the park, and like my neighbor was so disappointed last year because they had a movie at our local park, which is just across the street, and nobody told us. So, you know, it's that, getting that message out, yeah, the summer program. So I emailed my neighbor to tell her.
But then the opposite holds true, because I know that the day that they were going to do some shredding, you know, which was around, you know, that, like, I told my husband, take this stuff over to be shredded. And then, you know, after 2 hours, the first 2 hours, it was like they had so much, it's like closed down. So then when I saw that they were having this shredding that's going to be, you know, at the police station, it's like, well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
because,
1 hour,
Yes.
they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And
because-
everybody was so mad
And then you
about
have, car-
that.
and, you know, it's like, you know, just to bring your boxes, so, you know, there's overextending, you know, getting too word out too much to people, like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then you have too many people show up. And and then you have a lot of disappointed people, so, you know,
Sometimes,
there's a fine line there
Yeah.
about, about getting out the word, but not too much, you know, where you're overwhelmed and too many people show up, so it's very difficult.
well, you know, like this public works fair that they have, I think there's a mandate that you have to do
Yeah.
so many, but, so they do it, but they don't tell anybody.
Right, they check it off.
And this repair thing, I think it's great, but does somebody screen the people who are doing it?
Well, probably not, because I think it was very ad hoc.
Mhm.
I think just a bunch, it was kind of a grassroots thing.
Because you look at
Together.
caregivers, they have to screen all those people, you know.
But that's going into the home, you know, where
Yeah.
this is going to a senior center, so it's,
But still, you're putting people in a position of trust.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, if they blow up something, start a fire.
So we're gonna talk about that at a future meeting.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
blowing things up, but
yeah. Okay, so we have 3 things for our September agenda, and hopefully we'll see everybody at the barbecue or the picnic. I think it's a barbecue.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it is important to bring your badge to the barbecue and wear it, you know, so people.
And then you can see my pumpkins. I have a pumpkin patch.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good.
My pumpkins are like this big.
Already?
Yeah, very good. Okay, and since there's no further business,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, the meeting's adjourned.
Well, thank you for a good meeting.